Here we go. I think this is video number 6 by the JL Audio AW7. And arguably maybe the most profound feature of the JL AW7. And that is the DMA. The last thing. Every subwoofer, everything on earth, even God, when he built a house, he started with the foundation. The foundation of any subwoofer is going to be the motor structure. And particularly the top plate. Here, you will look at this and say, well, it's not overly large. It's not neo. What's so special about this motor structure? This woofer was developed, the use of DMA. It is a finite element analysis, FEA. You ever see manufacturers when they say we have a FEA optimized motor, finite element analysis motor? Everyone uses that term. Some people use it just to gloss up their subwoofer. In actuality, it's probably a cookie cutter. Well, with J Audio, I'm glad you're listening to me, baby. Give me something to talk to. I explain this to him. Yeah, sit right here, because this is the most this is the most important feature about this woofer here. Since 1997, J Audio has been in the front of finite element analysis software, the program development, and the result is, well, Theo Small did the TS parameters, but FEA is using the TS false parameters and use them in conjunction. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible, as I understand it, to make sure the motor is used efficiently. However, most of those models are based on static alignments, meaning that it's considering that the magnetic field inside the gap, which is the top plate, does not change. And that's not true. It is a way of calculating what a woofer will and will not do based on that top plate within the given parameters, but it's basically saying that, let's say your gap is, we'll make it big, we know the gap is nowhere near this size. Let's say your gap is 20 millimeters high. Well, no, it can't be that. Your top plate is 20 millimeters high. So that means your gap with the top plate and the pole piece and the gap is 20 millimeters high. The voice cord moves in between that. That's the gap. Now, with FEA, they're not saying that the whole gap, the whole 20 millimeters is the gap, is the magnetic field is generated. They're going to take a mean average of that and possibly say out of the 10 millimeters, 10 of it is your gap that stays constant. And we can depict what the woofer is going to do in that gap based on the height, the topography of the gap, the motor structure, how you focus the energy, what the woofer is going to do. But that's saying that the field stays constant, doesn't move. DMA realizes that as the voice cord moves in reaction to that magnetic field, it's going to change that magnetic field, because the magnetic field is going to respond, whether it's a positive current or a negative current going through the coil, it's going to respond differently to that field, and that field is going to change. It's going to change on a lot of factors. It's going to change on the amount of power being applied, the EMF coming back from the coil, because the coil, as it moves, is creating its own electromagnetic field, and that's resisting the power going to it, and all that's going to affect the gap, and all that's going to affect the magnetic field, and as the coil moves, it's going to have a factor on the gap, the linearity of the coil as it moves. J Audio has pioneered that DMA, dynamic motor analysis, where we look at the magnetic field as the woofer is under power, whereas most people are just giving you the results, TS parameters, and what it will do, and how and base their motor based on a static magnetic field. It's not static; it is dynamic. That software is costly, but it enables the manufacturer to actually depict what their woofer will do with a positive signal going through the coil on the upstroke, or a negative signal going through the coil on the downstroke, meaning the alternating current, it goes back and forth. As that current alters back and forth through the coil, it's going to respond differently to the field, and the field is going to change in response to what the coil is doing. That enables you to get a very more accurate prediction on how to use your motor structure, your magnetic field, and the time plate to get the most linearity, power on the compression, power on the stroke, and to keep the BL curve constant throughout the entire stroke. If you look at that, that's costly in the development of the motor. This motor was developed with DMA, FMA optimized, yes, with the DMA, I guess you would say, template overlaid on top of it. JL Audio pioneered that. That's a set of series of programs that's added on to the FEA model to get them a more efficient, more powerful throughout its entire stroke, more linearity in their motor structure, so that you don't have to get an overly large motor structure to achieve the results that the JL8W7 can achieve. Keeping it cool, everything. This is a very unique motor. Some companies, they do different things with the rack, the magnetic boot. Some tell you FEA optimized. Everybody has an FEA optimized motor. But that dynamic motor analysis, are you at the forefront of pioneering that? Do you know how to use it? No, they don't. Never used it. Not saying that woofer is not good. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is JL Audio took the added step to even work even further on understanding the magnetic field when it's under power. The compression ratio, how at 100 watts, 10 watts, this frequency, that frequency, inside this enclosure, that enclosure, to get them a very efficient motor structure. They did this 22 years ago. That's why the woofer has not changed since then. Technology hasn't got to the point really where y'all beating what they did here with the goals they had achieved for the sound quality, the narrative of this drive. I want you to understand one thing about JL Audio, and don't go for the haters and the people say it's overpriced, this, that, another. JL's first concern is sound quality, the accurate reproduction of music, pre-recorded music. They have achieved that goal. It's not about taking this voice core from PE and taking this voice core and slapping on this former and put on this put on this spider and this surround and this basic as you see these so-called soul gurus do. All they doing is Frankenstein. They're not doing any real-time analysis, no FEA optimization, none of this stuff. They just sit there and tell you, man, put this voice core on this spider and blah, 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 and they're not showing no programs, no nothing. They just Frankenstein, designing, giving you a look. And then they put it on the power and let you see the woofer move and say, yeah, that's going to hammer. Means absolutely, positively nothing. I want you to ask yourself, if any of these guys are that good, then why are they not employing people? Why don't have a subwoofer with their name on it? Because this woofer, this is JL Audio AW7. It's easily recognizable. It has James and Lucio name on it. People know who did this. They proprietize, they make the entire subwoofer. They made all the parts. They know how it works. We engineered it, we designed it, we engineered it, we tested it, we manufactured it. Well, a lot of these other companies, you just taking somebody else's stuff and piecemealing together and then telling me it's better than this. As I said earlier, if you go for that, I'm going to keep it clean. But if you go for that, oh my God. So that's why this woofer is so far ahead of the time. And it costs what it costs because they're actually giving you something. Well, if it's overpriced, they can do it. How do you know? You don't know what went into the design matter. You don't own a manufacturing company. So when someone else tells you that something is overpriced and overrated, what justification do they have to tell you that if they're in the same position you're in? It's like me sitting there telling you, yeah, this subwoofer here is overpriced, overrated. Oh, that's interesting. MB, what subwoofer do you make that has your name where you employ people? Oh, well, I'm just telling you from what you don't know nothing. So in conclusion, Subwoofer here is light years ahead of its time. Premium sound quality driver. I do not know what I'm going to do within the truck. I am going to have a box built. I am going to put them inside the truck so y'all can hear them. But going for 140, that's not the goal. I want you, when you hear this woofer here, I want you to focus in on how it sounds. How it sounds. I'm in the business of music. I'm in the business of sound. I'm not in the business of SPL. I'm in the business of sound. I'll let you know what something does and give you out the qualifications for a king title if I'm in the SPL arena. But this is a king and he hasn't even scored yet. This is a SQ King. It has the NBA stamp of approval. No, I do not sell it, but it is a great driver. I would happily love to build you a box for it. This is a great premium driver, and I personally believe that J Audio achieved all their goals when they set out in 1996, and then 6 years took to develop this woofer. When it was released in 2002, it is and still at the forefront of sound quality today. I don't think J Audio will never go for SPL. You know, that's not. It's easy to make something loud. It's hard to make something accurate. Peace.